rough estimate, because there's 127 people worth, 127,000 people, 4,000 taking the trains, right? So you multiply that by an average fare, travel fare, can you just get a ballpark figure?
Average fare is almost $1.
Almost $1. So 127,000?
Yeah, maybe.
Will you be refunding people who had to take taxis because a lot of them could not get on the buses, could not get on the bus services?
The refund is based on the fare that they have incurred. Yeah. And we provide the free bus shuttle service.
Given the level of frustration people experienced yesterday, are you looking at more beyond apologizing and giving them fair refunds because people were really, really upset?
I think the most important thing is to get things right. And that's where we are concentrating on. We really don't want this to happen again. That's where I think all the energy must be put into.
Another thing is that this is happening after you recently raised fares. So what would you say to commuters who are pretty, again, very frustrated with that? This comes so quickly after you increased fares in October.
Well, as I said, we really apologize for the event. And it's something that we don't wish. It's something our people try very hard. Our maintenance team work day and night to keep the system as effective as can be. It's unfortunate that it happened. In fact, until now, we cannot ascertain why it happened because it's never happened before. It's not something that we could foresee could happen. And the maintenance of the system is an ongoing one, as Mr. Khoo has explained. So really, it is not something we foresaw or something we want to happen. And all the energy now is to ensure that it doesn't happen again.
For instance, of the figures, apparently there have been 40 big and small breakdowns in the last financial year. The last major one is in September. So are we to take that something like this could be happening on a more frequent, is it going to be a part and parcel of the transport system?
I think we don't have any significant breakdowns.
We don't have very significant one.
I think just to explain a little bit to everybody, our train system has got very strong safety measures inbuilt into the system. When you run the trains now very closely, because we want to give as many trains as possible, shorter headways to relieve the crowdedness. So, for example, during the peak, you're running the train and pushing the train to the maximum of 2 minutes for every train. Now, when that happens, the train gets closer, packed together. It is a inbuilt safety system. When it gets closer, beyond a certain point, it must trigger and stop. So because of it's like a congestion, a traffic jam. So what happens is that it is a fail-safe method to ensure the trains don't hit each other. So this is inbuilt for safety for the customer. And therefore, each time when the trains are very congested, the incidence, therefore, of a train automatically stop for a while is there. But nothing is wrong. It's just that train senses that I'm getting near to another train. So safe measure comes in, stop. Don't do anything. Just stop first, because that is the safest thing to do. Then our train driver goes in and he has to manipulate to restart the train. It's like our engine that has just died. Now you could go in and restart the engine. That takes about 1, 2, 3 minutes to restart. So that will occur, but it's a normal occurrence. But if you count that as an occurrence, yes, that would increase. But they're all less than 5 minutes. I would think this kind of occurrence, when it starts restarting it would increase. But I can only tell the commuters there's nothing to worry about. It's just actually for their safety. And we will never remove this as a safety. I think you can see in other countries, when they remove this, trains do crash into each other. We will never ever do it, because ultimately there's always two things as a holy grail to SMRT. One is the safety of our customers. We never do anything that's safe. As Mr. Khoo mentioned just now, yesterday we could have restarted the system at 9 o'clock instead of 11:40. But just because we can start is not good enough. We want to make sure the system is safe for the customer. So we had to physically inspect and patrol the whole length to ensure that it is truly safe, rather than with urgency to just start the system and if something worse happen. That's the first thing. The second thing, in our second one of our very strong tenets is reliability. That's why, and Mr. Koo has said just now, even though we increase our train runs, increase our kilometers, we never compromise on the maintenance of the system. They know this, and the team here works very hard to ensure that we keep the maintenance to that. But it is no defense of the fact that something happened yesterday. And what happened for it, as I can say to everybody here, is that, I mean, we have to take responsibility, and we are truly sorry about this, and very, very sorry about this, because I understand how difficult it is for a customer to, instead of take half an hour, 45 minutes to go home and to be stuck there for a few hours. And worse, if they're stuck in a train. And it's not air conditioning, it's just ventilation. And certainly the fact that you don't know what's happening, we approach that, but it is a situation that I know it takes time for us to ascertain what's happening. And we are definitely going to do better next time. Not that we hope there's a next time, but certainly the team is critically looking into it. We have been looking into the announcement systems because we have been critical ourselves that we can do better. But this is an extremely real-life test for us to realize how much more we need to do. And we've had these discussions very intensely to see how we can give announcements and information, one, to the customers who are in the stations, who are in the trains most importantly. And we see the challenge in the train is really the train driver has to make that announcement, okay? And that's the challenge we are trying to overcome. But certainly what many of you has mentioned, that we want to inform the customer earlier before they even come to the train. So Chi Kong and his media team that you all know of are trying to see where I can reach the customer out of the train system so that he can make up his mind, I'm not going to walk to the train station and create more congestion. So these are the kind of things that are very key and important, because the interface, regardless of what we do, is very important. This interface with the passenger and the experience of the passenger is something we care a lot about. I mean, this is for everyone. That is why at the drop of a hat, hundreds of our staff who are somewhere else will come back and do their best when the system is down. For that, I think our staff try very, very hard. The amount of effort from the buses to the train people, to the comms people, to the engineers, station staff, I mean, they work overnight. Just to let you know, the staff have worked overnight for 3 nights.
So for yesterday's incident, how long will it take for the investigation to conclude?
It will take a while, because this is firstly covering a lot of areas, as I said, from so many stations, and so many trains were involved. To understand what happened mechanically, I think the team will look into it, definitely on an engineering technical point of view. But I think more important, just as important, is Wai Ming's team to look into all the interfaces, why and what the experience the customer, so that we can try and close the gaps. And that will require us to view all the CC cameras, go through chapter and verse, minute by minute, what happened, why this took so long, why could it be shorter? Instead of 30 minutes, could it be 20 minutes? Instead of 10 minutes when we made the first announcement, could we have done it in 5 minutes? When the announcement said the train is going to be delayed, can we say more than that? Can we, as you said, I think one of you mentioned and suggested, can't we tell them that, well, the train is going to be stopped and we're going to detrain you? A train is coming soon to help, to rescue us. Keep them more updated. You see, this requires, I think, a lot of training. You'll be able to do the preparation, obviously. But I think the train driver training, we will do more. I think the train driver wants to do more. I mean, he is the guy in the middle of the action. He really would like to do more, and we have to help him do more.
Currently, are your train drivers trained not to communicate directly with...
No, they do.
No, they are trained to communicate with the passengers.
But one is only in English, so there's something we agree and we want to look into. And two, it is also the question of timely and more timing, because he only can communicate what he's told. He's as blind as the passenger on the train. So he only gets information from the OCC to tell him what's happening. And so therefore, that condition, I think we can do a lot more. And he has to be trained to use his words, because sometimes you cannot use the recording in some cases. As we said, we will do recording, but in some cases, the information, the recording can only be so standard. So how to tailor it such that they can make an announcement that is relevant, I think that's where Wai Ming's team will be very much focused on.
Especially in cases like this where it's a crisis situation, a more humane approach, a more personal approach where you can hear a human being and not a pre-recorded announcement.
Yes, of course.
Do you think there is a need to...
But they do manual announcements
We
today.
also do manual announcement, and we also do recorded announcement. But depending on the situation. Although we try to do manual announcements, but some of the time the train officer had to do fault rectification at the same time. At the same time, he has to make announcement. So if he were to spend time to do announcement, actually it will take up longer time for him to do the fault rectification. Example, when a train had detected a fault, he had
So
to...
are you saying that it's more important to do the rectification before communication?
We will do the communication and then he will start the thing. That is our procedure. The train is now, do certain thing, then he will start his things. So this will take time. So that's why we want to help him to do this by giving him pre-recorded. But as you know, people want to hear a voice. So we are looking into the kind of thing.